PK52, the Saturday morning meeting. Hey, just heads up, this weekend, as the NASCAR race goes, and I hope everybody knows that we were racing the Camry for the last couple of years in the NASCAR series, and we have moved to the Supra. So the Supra is our NASCAR that we're running. The 95 car will feature the brand new Toyota certified pre-owned used vehicle logo on the hood of the car. So really, for the first time out for the media, we'll be releasing the new logo. If you look at the new logo, if your dealership's already received some information and they've already shown you the logo, the cool thing about the logo is the simplicity of the logo. So at the glance, I know this is a certified car. There's several things that are going on right now, and I'm not allowed to tell you guys everything that's going on with certified, but I want to take a second because it's time to prep to get ready for the end of the month and for the new beginnings with Toyota Certified. What are the things that are changing and why are they changing this? First of all, the leadership with Certified right now in Plano is doing a great job, and they're really paying attention to what's going on in the car business. I'll be honest with you, this is 30 plus years for me working in the car business and working with Toyota, and a lot of times the general look at a major manufacturer like that is the scope of the landscape as a whole. But I think what they've done right now is they've got a group of people working there that understand there's a singular purpose in every aspect of the car business. When a customer comes in, they're coming in for service, they're coming in for parts, they're coming in for a pre-owned car, a new car, a certified car. There's so many reasons why people do business with your stores. And I think that Toyota's starting to actually break that down. As they're looking to diversify to become a mobility company, they're starting to look at the individual needs of the consumer. Big changes in the car business, and we've talked about it, but I don't know if it's really sunk in or not. We've got one of the greatest manufacturers in the history of the earth, Ford Motor Company. You know the story of Ford. I mean, Ford basically started the mass production of cars for the world. They made affordable cars so everybody in America that had a job could afford a car, and it opened the boundaries. It went through Eisenhower decided to open a interstate highway system, and basically the commercials for the major manufacturers, see America. Get in your car and see America. And those major manufacturers, from Ford to General Motors, they created this gigantic car industry in the United States. And I said car industry. There are so many people that had their first car. You know, my first car was a '66 Mustang. I was raised by a single parent, and he had a Mustang, and instead of going out and buying me a junker car, he just gave me the Mustang. Of course, at 15 years old when I got my driver's license, I had no idea that I had a '66 Mustang because it was just a used car back then. Wish I still had it. Aquamarine, 3-speed automatic, Cool King air conditioner that on a hot day would freeze in the first 5 minutes. So just roll the windows down because the air didn't work. But it was a cool little car, a little 289 V8. First car, not first truck. Most people had a first car. You know, cars were a revolution in the 50s. Cars were a revolution. Everybody built a hot rod. You know, and then we moved into the 60s and 70s, and everybody went back to the 30s and 40s cars and started building them as hot rod cars and classic cars. Well, Ford is out of the car business. I mean, I realize they're going to have a couple of units that will be a car. General Motors is out of the mainstream cars. You know, these low-priced cars, you know, somebody knows that they're looking to buy a Corolla. They know what a Corolla is. They know it's not the most luxurious car in the world. They know that there's cars that have more equipment on them and have more luxury line. But if you buy a Corolla, you can pass it through the family for generations and it still runs. If you need a used car that's over 20 years old, you could find a Corolla. So General Motors and Ford and Chrysler have decided that Americans don't want cars anymore. We are one change in geopolitics away from gas being $4 a gallon again. Nobody thinks about that. It's crazy. We only think about yesterday and maybe the morning of the day we're in. We never think about the future. But if gas jumps to $4 or $5 a gallon again, and there's nothing out there but average gas mileage SUVs, the value of those cars will plummet overnight. So the opportunity to take all of these customers that are in Fords and Chevys and Chryslers right now, that are in cars that want a car. They have limited space to park. Some of them have limited mobility, and anything that has a lift on it, it's hard for them to get in and out of. You know, if you're not the tallest person in the world, if you have an SUV, you have to have running boards. It's a lot easier to be able to buy a Corolla, just get in the car, drive the car, be comfortable in the car, get in and out of the car, and drive that car for 1,000,000 miles if you choose. How are we going to transition these people that have always bought domestic cars? And it's the thing that we've always done with Toyota. Can I just get you in your first Toyota? Because if I can, I probably got you. Because you're going to realize there is a quality difference in these cars. That the cars are really going to be more maintenance free, less dollars out of your pocket, great fuel economy, and a network of dealers that is just fantastic. So last month, Toyota certified pre-owned used vehicle, which is the gateway. Let me say it again, is the gateway. Right now, Scion is gone. We tried to develop another brand that became the gateway. How do I get started with Toyota? Can I have a low-priced car that has a lot of quality in it? Can I get people to think about that car, and then their next purchase will be a Toyota? That's a gateway. Well, Scion's gone. So our gateway now is certified pre-owned used vehicles, TCUV. 40% of the people that are buying certified cars, listen to this, are new to the brand. I do realize there's a lot of managers, and I do have some owners that watch the Saturday morning meeting. And I'm saying right now, everybody's thinking, well, is it a profitable enough arena for me to jump in full scale? Is it or is it not? We've got consultants going out in the field doing meetings and going to your stores. There's 3 of us nationally that are doing TCUV training to try to talk about the nuances and the difference between our program versus a based used car. So they jumped to 130% of MSRP. And I can tell you what I think it's going to do is if you own a Ford Fusion right now, let's say it's 3 or 4 years old, and let's say the car's okay, that's a good looking car. I mean, I rent a lot of cars. I fly into an area, and if I get in late, there's no Toyotas left. I mean, travelers understand this. If you travel and you get into a rental car place, the Toyotas go first. I always ask for a Toyota. KC, I've got you in a Nissan. No, do you have any Toyotas? If you get there late in the afternoon or early evening, there's no Toyotas left. So I drive a lot of Ford Fusions. It's not a terrible car. Ford is walking away from that car. It's over the last couple of years been number 5 to number 7 volume car and truck, most sold 5th to 7th of all manufactured items. And they're basically walking away from that car. The Taurus, the Cruise, for Chevrolet, the low price car. We lose a deal to a Corolla, to a Cruise because the customer can get their payment low enough. And unbelievably, just like the first day I got in the car business, some customers are really interested in a low monthly payment. And if they can get a new car with a warranty on there and a low monthly payment, all of a sudden, brand doesn't become so important to them. Of course, after they buy a Chevrolet, they're going to tell everybody the Chevrolet's the best car, because you can't tell somebody that you bought a car that you thought wasn't the best car. This is just simple common sense things. But they would have been better off buying a Corolla 5, 6 years down the road, 4 years down the road when they traded the car, because the resale value to purchase price would have been higher. And it's always been higher because the Corolla is going to last longer. So when Toyota certified used vehicles, the staff in Plano decides to work with TFS and say, we're going to raise the base loan percentage to 130% from 120%. Unfortunately, for some people, when they get into a car, they have to carry some of the negative equity of their last car loan. Maybe they went too long on the term of the loan. Maybe the car didn't really hold the value that they expected it to hold. Or maybe the manufacturer just discontinued the car. How in the world is a Ford Fusion at the end of next year going to be worth what it's worth right now when there is no Ford Fusions being built anymore? So that customer can take that Ford Fusion negative equity, and I'm sorry that they're going to have that, but they are. And they can roll right into a Toyota dealership, and we can borrow up to 130% of extra clean book and roll some of their negative equity taxes and fees into a Toyota and put them in a car that's going to last the duration of the note and beyond. I think that is a genius move. A lot of people have asked me about the logo. We've gone from a colorful, capsulated logo, our traditional logo, to a very generic, quick, easy to read, a logo that patterns the new car logo. And people ask me what I think about it. It's best that you don't ask me because I'm going to tell you. I think that the visibility of the new logo is going to be easier for somebody to look at and go, that's a certified car. And if that's the only thing it does, it's worth the money that Toyota's spending to change the logo, to change the advertising, and change the footprint of certified. This is going to be the largest used car year in the history of the car business. The gateway to Toyota now has become Toyota certified. I'm coming out of another brand. I've never owned a Toyota before in my life. I don't know that I want to spend the money on a brand new car right now because, still worried about the family budget and everything. But look at all the things you're giving me with a certified car. I'm not just getting a car. I'm getting manufacturer's backed warranties. You're going to put me in a roadside assistance program for the first year. There's many dealerships out there that are opting to add a little bit of prepaid maintenance as a part of their delivery package for a certified car. I think that is genius. Because if that customer comes back into your service department and we retain them as a service client, service revenue goes up, customer retention goes up, and we decrease overall advertising costs. I would rather decrease service repair hours and charges to the customer by retention than just give a bunch more money to these national and local advertising agencies to drive traffic in. I'd rather keep my traffic. That's just me being old school. So our choices now are the greatest new cars ever made, dependability, quality, durability, longevity, and resale value. That's Toyota. That's Toyota. There's other brands that have these qualities, but not all brands do, and you and I both know that. On the used car side, I can only tell you about my personal deal. I traded an almost 200,000 mile FJ Cruiser in on a truck, a limited 2008 Tundra that had 150,000 miles on it. Now that Tundra right now has 198,000 miles on it, and I'm still driving it. That's kind of where, based upon my lifestyle and really never being home, being on the road all the time, the value to me is to buy a 150,000 mile Toyota because I know. Nobody has to explain it to me. I know if I can go drive the truck and I can look at the service history of the truck or car that I buy, then I know that truck's going to make it another 150,000 miles. Do I have to put a water pump in it? I don't know, maybe. I did put a radiator in my truck last year because the radiator was leaking. It's weird. When the radiator leaks, you need to put a new one in. But I don't have a monthly payment, so I put a radiator in, and so now the truck is good to go again. So it's interesting that I'm not a new car buyer, and I'm not a recently turned in used car buyer, but I'm in that segment of used cars. So there's a new car buyer out there that deserves a new car. They want a new car. That's what they're going to get. They like the new technology. They like the bells and whistles. And when you pull up into a parking lot or a family reunion, and you're driving the brand new, never been out before, cutting edge, new body style Toyota, everybody's going to come look at your car because the nuance of new cars has been legendary in this country. And then I love putting somebody in my truck and covering the odometer of my truck and going, guess the miles. And people will say, they know, I tell them it's a 2008, they'll see 2008, 11 years old, do the math and everything. KC 120,000. And then I say it's 200,000 mile truck. And then I have it running, turn the air conditioner radio off, and I go, listen to this thing. Listen to this thing. Listen to this thing. It's an amazing brand. You guys have to question yourself. If you've been working for Toyota for 3 or 4 months, or maybe a year, maybe your second year in the business, why would somebody spend 30 years of their life working for one manufacturer? And I do work for Toyota, just like you work for Toyota. I'm not an employee of Toyota Motor North America. I don't My check is, I'm not their employee. I'm an outside vendor. Just like if you sell cars at a Toyota dealership, you represent Toyota at your dealership, but you don't work for Toyota Motor North America, me either. So it would be easy for me to leave and go do something else. Why would I ever leave? My style and my aggressiveness with Toyota hasn't made everybody happy over the years and everything, but I can tell you one thing, nobody can look at me and tell me that I don't believe in the product. And I know if I sell somebody a Toyota, whether it's a new certified or a pre-owned car, that customer is going to have great mechanical success with that car and have the ability to pass that car to another family member and have that car be durable for the life that they own that car. Man, I don't know. If you're selling something to somebody, it makes it pretty powerful when you can say something like that. So look in the next couple of weeks. You know I'm going to tell you. I'm under moratorium right now. I can't tell you all the changes that are happening to certified. Some of your dealers are very aggressive and are very good to you and tell you what's coming. But the certified program is taking a change. It is becoming better than ever before. It's almost to the value that you get so much with certified that you might want to look at that first. The gateway to Toyota at 40% is certified. Right now they're saying J.D. Power numbers that just came out that we can track, that 50% of the people that buy a certified car will repeat a purchase of a new or another certified car. So it's half. And then there's other measurements we've done that have been a lot higher than that. So I don't know, if you sold 1,200 cars in the last 5 years, wouldn't it be cool if you knew that 600 of the 1,200 without any contact from you were going to like the program that they bought into enough that if they were going to come in and buy another Toyota? That's the way to grow your future. Man, there is so much more to say. I hope this is the most successful year of all. I want to reach out and just do a special thanks. This is the 12th year I've done the spring kickoff for Greens Toyota in Lexington, which is steps away from Georgetown, Kentucky. It's a group of wonderful men and women that work in that store. They're a family-oriented store. They're a group of very diverse thinkers. I mean, not everybody that works there thinks the same way, but they all work for that dealership as a family. And to be able to break my norm from going from city to city and doing specific training, to be able to go into a place where they physically call you family, even though you've never really worked there for the dealership, is so rewarding. You guys at Greens are phenomenal. The people that work for Toyota are phenomenal. Never forget, you're selling the best brand that's ever been made. KC Nix, PK52, the Saturday Morning Meeting.